What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Conversation Corner. With me today, I have someone who's not really in front of the spotlight. He kind of works behind the scenes, if you feel me. This gentleman, if he didn't exist, I'm pretty sure that 50 to 75% of the Christian hip hop underground scene would not exist. It's just a fact. I'm here today with one of the best producers in the game, Mr. 1KCHVCHO. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good and blessed. Good and
Heck yeah.
blessed.
Well, you know, as I said, you do more of your work behind the scenes, and honestly, I don't really know too much about you. So I want you to I want to give you the floor to kind of introduce yourself and kind of let people know what you're about, let people know who you are, where you're from, everything like that. So I'm gonna let you speak.
Yeah. My name. I go by Chvcho. That's like a name my grandfather gave me when I was a little kid. Family name, and I turned that into a music name. But not a lot of people know about me. But not a lot of people know about me. I am a music producer. I've been making beats, music since about like 5 years ago. But I never made myself public. I would make beats as if I were just playing the PlayStation, like playing a video game. It was mostly just for fun. And then one of my friends, Tuvi, I was like, yo, I posted it on my story. Hey, I want to drop like my first ever song with somebody. I was like, I want to do it for free out of love, all that, first come, first serve. And that's when the song One of One came to be that song. And I made my debut this year, January 1st. And ever since then, it's been taken off as a lot more than I thought it would. It very much a lot more for what is it? We're in September, yeah. It's been
Yeah,
taking off. That's like what, 9 months? 9 months, and a lot has happened in 9 months.
that's right. And yeah, and just speaking to that fact, the fact that you didn't even really do your first production placement until this year, and you really didn't get into production, you said, into the last 5 years, but it was more of a side hobby. But I'm also interested, did you have a musical background before you got into producing, or did you kind of just pick up and like learn it from tutorials, or how did it all come about?
So my parents, well, mostly my dad. He plays a lot of instruments. He plays the bass, guitar, piano. My mom plays the drums. So kind of a musical background. My dad has been trying to get me to play like all these instruments like my whole life. I never got the hang of it. Tried guitar, bass, trumpet, piano, violin, all that stuff, and I couldn't get to it. And one day I'm in my cousin's room and he had downloaded this like program. It wasn't FL Studio. It was like a cheap program where basically you just make beats online. Like you make your own music online, and I was like, "Yo, I would love to try it." And I did, and I loved it. And that's when my other cousin, he's like, "Hey, do you know what Fruity Loops is?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know anything. I'm just doing this cuz it's fun." And
That's
he
right.
introduced me to it, and I was using the demo version of it for years making beats. And how that works is like you make your beat, but you couldn't save on it. So whatever I made, I would just have to export, and that's it, nothing else. And that's how it was for a couple years until for Christmas my parents surprised me with the full version of it. And ever since then, behind the scenes, I've just been perfecting my craft. That's all I did because my idea was like I didn't want to just pop out of nowhere, like, and then like my beats low-key be trash. So I wanted to like perfect my craft throughout the whole time. I wanted to perfect my craft throughout the whole time, and then that's when that first song came out. But I've been in contact with like Tuvi, a couple artists like that. A lot of underground, of course. Been trying to get in contact, during that time in 2024, and yeah, that's how it all started.
Yeah, and I don't want to skim over that. That's actually an insane introduction into the space. How do you get connected to a guy like Tuvi? Because Tuvi had been making music for a while before that. Did you know him prior to you doing the production, or was this something that came along the way in your producing career?
So there was a point where I had an Instagram account, but it wasn't really like a producer Instagram account. It was like a personal one, like we all have. So nah, like I still wanted to work with artists, and Tuvi, I forgot who put me on a Tuvi, but I think either because like I'm on Instagram a lot, and how I tell a lot of people is now I only use my like producer Instagram, and that's like an A&R for me because I get to see like when I'm scrolling, I get to see like different and new artists. So I'm always like on the lookout for different and new artists. And Tuvi was one of those, or I don't know if he hit me up or I hit him up. I'm pretty sure I hit him up, and I was like, "Yo, we should work," like how I do with everybody. And they're like, "Yo, we should work." And I sent him my beats. He loved it. He saw the vision, and that's how everything went about.
So does he pass your name to some of these other guys in Florida? Or do you continue reaching out to more of these guys in Florida?
So I'm pretty sure he like, put a good word in, but how I do my things and I don't know. It's like God sends the send button, like he presses the send button.
Mm.
I don't know how, but I literally like how I get my connections now is literally a DM like, "Hey, like I like comment under the reel like you're fire," and then text them be like, "Hey, I would love to work." And that's like how a lot of like the connections I have nowadays is.
Wow. So it really is like that. That is so cool.
It's weird because, like, I don't think it should work, but it does.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about something like even like those older generations, it's kind of similar. It's just different because it was not on the internet. It was like they would have to show up in person, like in front of the radio station or something.
Yeah, or like camp out at studios to get in connection. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. So that's a crazy introduction into the space. Now, your first person that you work with is in Christian hip hop. Was that something that you were aware of, like the space of Christian hip hop,
Oh, yeah.
or was that like all you listened to, or was there other music you listened to as well?
So, my whole life, like, I was born and raised in being a Christian, and the legends of growing up, like Lecrae, Tarashi, Trip Lee, all those people, everybody in like 116 Click, or just in Reach Records in general. That's what I grew up with. But after a while, it started feeling a little repetitive for me. So like I was like, all right, I would listen to these songs a little bit repetitive, not hating on it, but Lecrae has classics, all of them have classics. But when I started actually taking this a little bit like serious, like when January hit, I'm like, yo, I want to change up the sound because my thing is like, being a little experimental, trying to like take or like bring out like something somebody wouldn't like normally be on and try to make that into something like new. I really love experimenting. That's what I do. I think that's what I want to do in this space is to bring out that creativity instead of being in like the same like, oh, this is what like being in like a box. Like this is what HH should be. Like I feel like it should be like, hey, you should get out of that box. You should start looking over even though it might be risky, it might be scary. You do not know what could happen. That's
Yeah,
my thing.
most certainly. And because you have this history in CHH, I'm curious because I feel like I've noticed that sound change too over time, where it feels like there was a certain point in time where the sound quality got better, the mixes got better, the production got more interesting. When do you think that happened with CHH or you started to see it occur?
So my goat is like forever always going to be RG, and I believe with Raul, that was like when Raul came out, that's like when it caught my eye. It really did catch my eye, and then Glow came out by RG. I'm pretty sure not off the same project as like a single, and that's when I believe like a shift came. And it's not like the whole CHH change. It's more so like this artist actually is trying to take a risk and it's obviously working. That's what I love seeing. That's my
Yeah.
thing.
And that, yeah. I now that you mention it, yeah, definitely like RG for sure. I'm actually newer to the space, so I'm always interested to hear like people who have been in it a lot longer, like their perspective on that. Because I do feel like a lot of those earlier mixes were like, honestly, they weren't that good to be great, if we're being honest. But wow, 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 wow. I want to pivot down to just the Florida scene in general, because I feel like everybody's in Florida, or at least they come from Florida right now.
Yeah,
Because you have guys like Gavin the Hot Rod and Young Drew. They're from Jacksonville area.
yeah,
You have guys like Kaden. You have guys like Tuvi. You have guys like KB, who's actually in Tampa.
yeah. In Tampa, yeah, and
Have you ever
Vennisay from
reached out to
Lakeland.
KB?
I tried at once, but it's just very hard. He's a busy man. He's very busy all the time. So I've tried, but there's like other people like Vennisay, Wolf, Gavi, all those like legends from Miami. You don't hear a lot from other than KB from Tampa.
Yeah, that's right. But Vennisay, I'm glad you brought up Vennisay because Vennisay was really the first person that when I listened to his songs, I heard this Chvcho tag
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I'm like, who the heck is this guy? This guy is making so much fire. Like Antonio, Bars and Beats have been trying to tell me for the longest, like, yo, this guy Chvcho, he's like, he's insane. I'm like, I bet. I mean, from what he's sending, it sounds good. And then as I started finding more Venise, I started finding more Chvcho. And so I'm curious, like, how does that relationship come about between you and Venise? Is it that way that you mentioned where you posted something on his page or
So,
something?
so it's funny. So I before January, my like debut date, I actually like would post because I was still making beats, of course, for fun. But I wanted like CHH artists to like hop on it. So Vennisay was one of those, but I would spam a lot, like on my story, and I would always tag like Vennisay, Vennisay, Vennisay. But obviously, I was still small, and I was still obviously working on my craft. But yeah, eventually, just one day, it came to be, and he posted on his story. He was like streaming, and I was like, you know what? I'll join the stream and see what's up. And he was trying to record, and he was like, "Yo, send me beats." I sent him my beat, because I'm pretty sure I had his number at that time. So I sent him the beat through like iMessages, and he like was scrolling through my beats, and then he found that one, the something new beat, and that's how it came to be.
Wow. And so I guess that what was your first placement with him, I guess, would be something new.
I think "Make It Make Sense" was the first. Yeah, "Make It Make Sense" was the first placement. It was the what like West Coast type song.
That was the joint that has like the vocal sample.
Yeah,
It's like the album cover I think is like a
on
car in the
car and
desert.
yeah.
Dude, I'm not even joking. I was bumping that song today. That's actually my favorite Venise song.
Well, I mean, it's not really like, well, it's like like I have a friend. His name is it's another like great producer. He like helped me sample that because it's like our vocal sample like Like I have a mic. I record like the vocal samples I use. Like sometimes and that one was one of those.
Wow. And going to your production style, I feel like whenever I hear it, I hear that experimental sound that you speak of, and I also hear this sample heavy sound. What made you want to go in that direction? Was it just because of the fact like because I know you'd said that there wasn't a whole lot of diversity in the space and you really wanted to bring something new, but like how do you settle on that for the sound?
So the sound I don't try to like cuz I don't like I used to be the type beat person. I used to be like that person back then. I make what comes to mind. So like I don't cuz I know and there's nothing bad to it. I know there's like a lot of producers that get home and like, "All right, I'm going to make so amount of beats today. I'm going to push out whatever today." But I'm the type of person that I learned to if you make 100 beats in a week, that's cool. Maybe they'll all get placed, maybe only one will get placed, but if you only make like 3 or 4 beats a week and they're all high quality, high like a lot of thought and meaning to it, that is worth more, and that somebody, like, told me that, and I was like, "You know what? I'll do that," and that's what I do, and I don't get home, like, of course, I'm like, "I wanna make beats today," and I'll try, and if it isn't up to par, like, I have a way more beats, like, in the vault that I, like, start, and I'm like, "No, this isn't up to par," so I just keep it, like, in the because I don't wanna put, like, my discography right now, like, in my opinion, I'm not trying to, glaze myself, but, like, in my opinion is, like, 10 out of 10, and I wouldn't want something to, like that I did mess it up. So I was like, "You know what? This isn't up to quality." Scrapping that, keeping it to the side. But eventually those beats will get finished and put into, like, a different category.
Yeah. I'm also always interested to hear these stories of like how these beats get used on projects and how sometimes the producer didn't think it was that great of a beat, but then the artist just brought so much out of it. Has there ever been a beat that got a placement where you were like, man, I didn't think that beat would ever do anything, and then it just like the artist just killed it with it?
There is one. I can't say too much about it because it's not out yet, but there is one. I even told the artist, I was like, "Hey, "Do you mind if I, like, tweak up the beat a little bit? Because I made that beat so long ago." And he was like, "Nah, it's fire." And then I tried tweaking it up, but, like, his execution to that beat was so good, I couldn't, like, make another beat around it. So I had to keep it, but, yeah, it's coming out soon, but, can't say the details yet. It'll
Yeah,
it'll it'll come out soon. It'll come out soon.
man, I'm excited to hear it. I think the people are excited to hear it. So I want to talk more about just the CHH scene in general and like your aspirations in CHH. Cause I see some of like your post and I see some things where you're like Dove 2026 on the socials. And
Uh,
so like
yeah.
for this like upcoming year or even just the rest of the year, like what are your goals? What are your plans for the rest of the year?
My plans are definitely I'm trying to get, like, a Dove award of some sort next year. That's, like, what I really wanna do, and I have a lot of projects that I'm working on that right now or, like, starting to work on, sending beats out, getting stuff done that, could potentially make that happen. Starting another project next month. I have finally this month is like my calm months because I've been working on so much. But of course, things pop up. It always does for some reason pop up. Songs, hey, I want this song placed. I want this beat. But yeah, definitely Dove Awards. And I really do want, like, I don't know. I want to work with so many artists. RG's definitely one of them. That'll hopefully work soon.
Yeah. And speaking of things popping up, another thing that a lot of people probably don't know is you've had a lot of like setbacks and like things happen to
Oh,
your
yeah.
equipment that are crazy. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Like, I'm on a MacBook now, but there was one morning I woke up. This was like a week before the Agios writing camp. I woke up one morning and I kid you not, I'm laying in bed and all of a sudden, like at the corner of my eye, it's just like a white flash and like a pop, like right on my old gaming laptop. And when I go to look at it, it doesn't turn on. It still doesn't turn on to this day. And I
Wow.
have all like my big hits that I like have made, the files, everything on that laptop. I just need to get it out. But I mean, it sucks. It really does suck because I had so many beats in there.
And that wasn't your only setback. I think I saw something about like, wasn't there another thing that happened even like earlier in the year or something?
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe when out of nowhere, it wasn't even like my fault or like it was just the people we were like renting from. They ended up like kind of evicting out of nowhere, but it was their fault. They did everything illegally and it just like set us back really bad, but somehow got a place to live a week later out of nowhere. So
Yeah, and praise God. And I mean, it just kind of shows like that path you're on, like, and how you're walking on it. And so it's just that, like, I feel like hearing those stories, it gives people that perseverance. Cause I imagine that, like, when you lost that stuff, that you kind of like lose motivation in that moment.
I did. It was very like I, like, had a breakdown, like, as soon as, like, I tried pressing the power button and nothing turned on, I had a breakdown, and I was like, "I don't know what to do," but, yeah, out of nowhere, a MacBook came out of nowhere, so I thank God for that, but, yeah, in moments like that where, like, I believe the devil, like, attacks so that certain things, like, "Alright, let me attack this so something else doesn't happen," like, trying to close a door, but obviously, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Somehow or some way, with, like, things in your way, it's gonna happen if it's meant to be.
Yeah, most certainly, brother. And just kind of like close out this combo here. I just want to like give you the floor here and like let people know what you got coming up. But also, is there something you want to leave the listener with, like a piece of wisdom or something related to that?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, things coming up, tea time's coming up, my
Yes, sir.
other than Garco's, EP, of course, that's, like, produced all by me. Tea Time is executively produced by me with a couple of my other producer friends, like George, Not That helped in the production, and, of course, Austin No on one of them, and, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I actually want to talk about Austin Null because that's also one of my close friends as well. How did you get to know who Austin Null was?
So, I I kinda know him. I don't talk to him as much because, of course, he's busy. He's got a lot going on. He's got a lot going on in the music industry, but, nah, I met him through Kaden Jordan.
Oh, wow. So was it like during that 48 time?
So I believe so. They were making, I believe, 48, and he had texted me. He was like, "Hey," because he was like, "I meant to send you these samples a little bit ago, but here you go." He sent me some samples, and one of the samples in the sample pack was the melody for Nolan,
Mm,
and that's how we got that collab. Of course, on Hitmaker too. That's how we got that collab song. So he made the melody, I made the beat.
heck yeah. Well, brother, I just want to thank you for taking the time to have this conversation.
Yeah, of course.
Um, I just appreciate you so much. Thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one.